Good morning, good morning, and good morning. Welcome to Phoenix Business Exchange, Bell's Corners edition on this fine May 12th, 2025. In a sunny Ottawa. It's beautiful weather out here. And you know what? Let's share some information about the Phoenix Business Exchange because it's a business networking group. And I'm just going to swap out my screen in here and you should see it loading up. And member of the week is Cindy Little. And if you want to know what Cindy does, click the e-card or listen to her on the infomercial. Now, how to get into these Phoenix Business Exchange meetings. Regardless whether you're a seasoned member who just lost the link or you're just from the outside looking in, click on the Monday morning 8 to 9 Eastern Bell's Corners button right here. And we have a Wednesday morning one. Same deal, Thursday morning. So 3 days of the week, we're here. June 3rd after 7 p.m. After Hours Group is meeting, and that is hosted by Penny Lee, and it's about accountability and keeping you on target with your tasks. East Trade Winds tomorrow is hosted and free to attend for businesses across Canada, across the U.S., from Europe. Tuning in with Tony, free meditation, Friday afternoons at 1:30 p.m. You just have that relaxation piece. And it's just like, you're just having a chill time. It's like almost going to the Tulip Festival for Mother's Day. Yes, it was a good sunny day for that too on Sunday. Penny's got some dancing and movement, and it's all about medicine. And it's her NEA classes. She keeps you moving, and it keeps you healthy. Friends Friday Potluck, June 13th, 6:30 p.m. Not a Zoom event, it's an in-person. South End Group. Now, I mentioned up here earlier, it's Thursday mornings from 8 to 9. Well, in person, it is from 7:30 on, and in person on May 29th. No Zoom. See somebody talking here today? You want to know, hey, I want to know more about that person? Click right here, the QR directory for all members. Now, our stats aren't up to date yet on the page, but our BAMs, business activity meetings, meetings between members, 225. Referrals are 148, and amount of business is 91,645. Now, consider that's since Jan 1. Since the first of the year. So it's jumped up, all right, and this is the month of May, so this is the April stats. So business is good just between the members. And I'm going to hit the stop share. And I'm going to do an impromptu, because I've picked on Sam before, and since Tony is doing the presentation today, I'm going to see if Sam has some words of wisdom for your automotive happiness.
Or Eric.
Sure do there,
Yeah.
Bernie. Well, it's that time of year when your snow tire should be off your car. And I know that some people actually do it themselves. And it's no problem, go ahead, save some money and do your tire exchanges yourself. But there's a couple of things you should remember when you do that. If you don't know how to check your brakes, it might be a good idea to learn how, so you can see how much brake pad you have left. But the most important thing is when you put those lug nuts back on, it's called torquing down the lug nuts. That means that you have the right pressure on the lug nuts so they stay on the car. And invariably, every year I hear of someone's wheel coming off their car, or causing damage somewhere, maybe an accident or something like that. But believe it or not, you can actually over torque them as well. And that means if you put too much pressure on them and tighten them up, you can actually cause damage to the threads of the lug, and it can actually cause almost the same kind of problem, which means that the lug can't tighten up on the wheel nut. So be careful when you do this. If you do your own tire exchanges, I would recommend you get a torque bar, something I use, to make sure that the right pressure is on the lug nut when you tighten it up. That's it for me, Bertie. Back to you.
Well, Sam, I appreciate the information, and that is important because nothing says that's a bad moment when the tire is passing your car while you're driving down the highway. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to do a round robin of, hey, what's been going on in my week? What BAMs, what referrals have transpired? And I will start off with Jacqueline and then go to Eric. Jacqueline, over to you, ma'am.
My bad. I took not one, but two long, deep breaths as I was moving my mouse around. And interesting that small things impact how a client is going to close their mortgage deal. Just small things. And it starts with having your home insurance. It's not a, it's not a not. It is a you gotta. I had a client who said, you know what, I'm sure I have it, it'll be fine. I need it because the lender needs to know that that house is insured. It needs to be insured. And I know any insurance agent broker here on Phoenix would say the same thing. You need to be working with Jacqueline and know that her lender is going to ask to know that you have insurance that will cover anything that may happen to your new home, existing home. When you're looking for strategies for your mortgage money, make sure you close that deal with your mortgage honey. Cheers.
Jacqueline, thank you so much. And here is our LinkedIn Live post. So you post your contact details in there. Mr. Eric Sonego, over to you, and then to Josh.
Thank you, Bernie. I appreciate you getting me first on Monday morning when I'm getting awake. It's a treat. Eric Sonego from the accounting firm of Eric Sonego Professional Group. Too soon to change to another name because this is a month that we're doing the merger. And what's happening this week here? Every year we have a meeting to debrief the tax season. So we get together, the two of us who are working offsite and the three of us who are working here get together in a restaurant. That we try to get the employees drunk, and then we discuss what happened in the tax season, and because of the drunkenness, they are more truthful about what took place, and we discuss um, tough assignments that we may have had, tough clients. We discuss whether we should drop anybody from the client list. What kind of advertising should we do in the year coming up? We discuss those kinds of things because over the last 4 months, some relationships got frayed in the office, and some employees have been abused maybe by clients. So all of that comes in the complaint comes in a more relaxed setting. We are located in Kanata. We specialize with small and medium-sized businesses. We do all kinds of year ends at this time of the year, including we finish Tony's year end. He will be happy to know. And you can get us at 613-254-7310, and we do bring reason to numbers and numbers to reason.
Eric,
Have a good.
always a pleasure having. Sorry, go ahead.
No, have a good week.
Always a pleasure having you. And sorry, there aren't enough people here to make you the last to roll in, so I have to pick on you sooner or later. And if you're looking for a business to bring in here, flooring contractor or retailer, flooring retailer would be handy. Have them get a hold of Penny Lee. Josh, over to you, sir.
Thanks, Bernie. Morning, folks. I'm Josh Lamb from Sterling Grace Technologies. We're your one-stop shop for all of your IT needs in Eastern Ontario. And we've got a team of experts that know a lot about tech and various assets and aspects of tech. And if we don't know it because it's something more obscure, we've got a network of people who do know. And so generally speaking, we make a really powerful addition to any team, as if in no other role than just in the CTO role, the Chief Technology Officer role, so that you can get the benefit of our expertise without having to bring in a C-suite type of individual that has that type of job. And so half of what we do is managed support, which is anything from I'm having trouble turning my computer on, my computer's not starting, my computer's not sending email, this Excel sheet's not working properly. My antivirus is out of date. I need my computer monitored. I've got a hard disk failing, all those kinds of things, up to I have server infrastructure, whether it be local or in the cloud, that runs some critical applications for my business, or I'm interested in getting either a on-site or in the cloud server to do some cool new things. And then the disaster recovery, backup solutions, and preventative maintenance planning around that, and just general support. We do remote support. So we have a tool that we install on all of our client machines that watches your machine, is able to identify bad patterns in your log files and your system events before they become bad days for you. And usually it can tell us things like, oh, you've got a hard disk that's starting to fail, and it might take weeks to totally fail, but we can jump on that and get ahead of it so that you can replace that drive before that drive makes your clients replace you when you go out of business. So those kinds of things, we're there to be an insurance policy around. And then that same program that lives on your computer lets us remotely support you and help you if you're stuck on something and need to share a screen, share a keyboard. And we try to do as much as we can remotely. And then if we can't fix the issue, then we also do site visits, and we have all the tools to do things like wiring, and to do equipment replacement, to do a repair on your computer. Maybe you've got a failing power supply. We fixed one of those for a client last week. Their computer just wouldn't turn over, wouldn't turn on. Didn't even jump into the post menu there, the little startup screen before Windows starts, and we identified it was a power supply. And so, yeah, we are your tech people, and for a fraction of the cost of hiring a dedicated IT support person, we bring a team with expertise, with management, project management, and training all built into it. So if you want your technology to stop just costing you money and start making you money, we know how to do it. Give me a call. I'm Josh Lamb at Sterling Grace Tech. Thanks.
Josh, thank you so much. And here's East Trade Wins Zoom link if you want to come on in and visit us tomorrow. Free to all. Mr. Sam, tell us a story.
Thanks again, Bernie. Sam Stewart, connectedcars.ca. Well, call myself Dashcam Sam because do dash cameras for cars. In fact, my nephew that helped us out at the cottage on the weekend, he had his dash camera stolen out of his vehicle. That doesn't happen very often, but he actually had it stolen out of his vehicle in London, Ontario. So I gave him some advice on one to replace it. I prefer one that I deal with myself than the one he had. There's one thing that some dash cameras have in them, and that is a little battery. And as we know in our climate, batteries in a device in the wintertime don't usually last very long. So you want to avoid that. And one that I recommend, it does not have a battery in it. It works off a capacitor. So it keeps track of the time and things like that, and won't burn out. Not burn out, but not die the battery. So I gave him some advice on one to replace the one that was stolen out of his vehicle. Anyway, besides dash cameras, I also do minor repairs, oil changes, brake jobs, and I've been doing lots of tire exchanges this year. And believe it or not, I haven't hurt my back doing them yet. Usually every year I hurt my back a little bit, change some of those heavy tires, but not yet so far. If you haven't done so, as Bernie talked about before we got on the air, you certainly are running out of time because when the temperature gets warmer, those winter tires start to wear down quickly. So you want to get those tires off. I would recommend before the end of May. Certainly if you're going for a long trip and the temperature is up into the 20s, don't be surprised if the tread is starting to wear down quickly on those winter tires. So you want to switch over in the next little while before that happens to you. See, BAMS wise. Well, a couple weeks ago, our friend Norm Boyer came to see me with his company van because he wanted an oil change, but he also was recommended that he needed brakes. And he was one of the victims of this year, actually the first victim I had, where someone told him he needed brakes and he didn't. So he had at least 30,000 kilometers left on his brakes, and I told him so. So he saved himself some money. And he was in town again, and he heard some noises from his vehicle, and he dropped by Friday afternoon. and I confirmed that he had no issues. It might have been road noise or something like that. He was worried about a wheel bearing. So he dropped by, and I made sure there wasn't an issue for him. And while he was here, his I think granddaughter got a free connected cars tube from me. So she was happy about that. That's it for me, Sam Stores, ConnectedCars.ca. Today's mobile electronics without the cost of the vehicle, and a lot more.
Sam, thank you so much. And golf, it's coming up September 4th. It seems so far away, yet, it's not. $88 gets you a round of golf. Gets you a cart. We're looking for people either to do promotionals or just play and just share the information. The link is there. It's all in support of the Canada Food Cupboard. All proceeds will go to the Canada Food Cupboard. And that swings me into my little bit of a piece of the heaven. And by the way, Kat's not going to be able to speak because Kat has a voice issue right now. She's based out of the UK or Scotland, and she does social media. She does the postings. She helps tweak things. She's very on the ball, keeping the facts and figures straight and tuning in. So if you're the person that goes, here you go, she makes sure it's sorted out so that everything is in the right timing. Because at one point in time, I had Penny Lee hosting something at 1 a.m, and she said, "Hey, you can't do that." So that's the kind of detailed type of orientation she has. And also here I come up and the Creative Insight. We've got a podcast called Knack for Business, and we talk to people about their business journey. In fact, we also talk to just hang on, I'm about to do something here and it is not posting the right way I want to, and so I'm going to share. We did a podcast with Kara Lee, and that is the link for it. Was actually recorded on Friday. Normally, I don't do a turnaround time within 24 hours, but that is a podcast talking about what she does, so what they do, and it's Feeding Families and Restoring Dignity is the title. So take a gander at it. It was released Saturday, so everything's out of schedule for that piece. So that actually kind of refers to a business activity I had with Kara Lee. So that's done. Tony and I had a chat at Hive, visiting the location. And then I did a referral to Tony on LinkedIn. And so I'm just giving you a heads up on that, Tony. And Carl and I had a BAM. And now I think I've covered all the points that I'm going to be chatting about. And I'm going to swing over to Mr. Tony Jennis. You're presenting, sir, and the helm is yours.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Bernie. I appreciate that. Yeah, it was great just to go through some of the businesses that we had connected to. I did have that chat with Bernie at Hive. Saw the facility, and it's a great place for business if you have to, for whatever reason, be remote from your business for a little while. It's a great place to be able to do the work. They have all the Wi-Fi's and everything else. So thank you, Bernie, for that invitation. Did some I talked to Josh about our contact box. We had that's something that I guess all of us should be doing is if on your website you have a contact us, and then there's a form where you got to put your name, email, and then a message, and then it goes off. Make sure that's going to the right place. I've been using that for quite some time, years actually. And somebody had mentioned that they sent me a message. I never got it. And then it came right down to it that I just tested it myself, and God knows where it's going. I tried to fix it myself, but it just didn't. All the coordinates seemed right, but then I got Josh involved. So hopefully that's working now. I just gave it to him like a few days ago. So I hope that is going good. But yeah, just make sure that your links are going where you want them to go. Because this was a contact that wanted to sign up for one of my classes that I teach, and I never got it. So yeah, you want to make sure that those lines of communication are open. So thanks a lot, Josh, for jumping on that. Ongoing business with Eric Sinego. Of course, he's done our taxes, and we have another company that he's going to be doing that as well. So that is great. You got a great staff there, Eric. So very, very competent. They really know their stuff. And we have Carl. Carl has been involved with my podcast now for about a week or two. We're just going through some of the initial editing and things, that the way that I like to do things. You know, when you do something for a long time, you sort of get a sort of a quality level. And, you know, it's almost like giving a baby to your baby to somebody. It's like, it's when you're very meticulous on how you want it to present. And Carl, his first draft was really great. It was amazing. Did a couple of little things, but nothing major. So we're going to be very happy to get that part of our work off our plate, because we're just like, I guess most of us in business, when we get so much to do, you got to start delegating and passing this stuff off to other people, or making it automated. That's a big one, is that, to get that going. So thank you, Carl, for that. If you're listening, that's great. Well, today, we're going to be talking a little bit about sound bathing, and then I'll end off with one of our classes that we did recently. But you've probably heard of sound bathing over the last 4 or 5 years. There's been a lot of facilities that are creating sounds and sort of frequencies. And in one place, I wasn't able to go to this facility, but it was almost like a hammock. It's strung up from the roof, and you sit in this little hammock idea, and then you're sort of floating. And then in that time, they have various frequencies, music, and that kind of thing, and it just drifts you off. And a person goes around and gives you other sounds close to your body and so on. And so it is sort of a transformation thing, because these aren't musical notes that many of them are doing. From tuning forks, whether it's singing bowls, there's a specific frequency that the body resonates to. So what does that mean? Well, it usually means that it's something that your body picks up right away. It's almost like when you hear about a sound, there's shivers going down through your body, down your back. Regular music does not do that. You have to get a melody and get a song thing done, because it is a limited 12-tone temperament. In other words, it only resonates to the ear. It doesn't resonate to the body. It doesn't resonate to the health part of it. The frequencies were changed some time ago. But when they use specific frequencies for your body, you sure feel it right away. And especially when you have a question in your mind, like maybe you might be working on something that you want to do with your kids and not sure how to start it, or if there's a problem you have at work that you're trying to solve it. And, in any part of our business, we always have questions or something that we want some answers to. So when we get just a cognitive thinking that what I should be doing, and you're using your mind a lot, it'll come to a point where you're going to come to sort of a stagnation point, a stalemate, a point where, okay, now that I have all this information, which one do I choose? Which one should I go with? And there's always this fear that we don't want to make a mistake. We want to make sure that we get this right the first time. And whether it's something that is done before, sound bathing can give you that experience where the information or what you want to look at comes outside of you. You're not using your cognitive brain to figure things out. It just sort of comes to you. That's where creativity comes from. It comes from the outside. It doesn't come from your brain. And sometimes people will argue with that, and it goes through your brain, but it doesn't come from your brain. There's a part that we have a gland in the middle of our head. It's called the pineal gland. And this gland attracts, and it's like an antenna that is outside of us. So most of the creative things that we get, I mean, if you look at a painter or a sculptor or anything like that, the first thing that they'll do is they have to see it in their mind. They have to see what they want to do. Michelangelo was the same way. He saw it in his head, and he said all he did was just chip away the unwanted pieces. So the The work of art is already in the stone. It's already in whatever you're doing, and you're just chipping away what you don't need, right? But where does that come from? Your mind doesn't figure that out. You know, if you see a picture in your mind, who's putting the picture there? Because your mind is looking at it and it's saying, "Oh, that's cool." Well, the mind doesn't create something that it's also saying, "Oh yeah, there it is." Your mind will create it and give it to you, but that's not how it works. When you see something, when you see the end of a project, when you see like a new home or a cottage or something that you want, it's not coming from your mind. Those pictures are coming from outside. You're opening up those portals to create it, and that creation comes in, and then your mind sees it. Okay, so anything in creative mode comes from outside. So whether you're an accountant, whether you're a salesperson, whether you're you're a mechanic or whatever you are, you have to see whatever it is that's going wrong. So when you get a problem, somebody comes in and there's a number of problems that you've never had before. I'm sure Sam has had situations where people will roll in and wonder how they even got that far, because either their tire is on literally a thread, and how it even got there is amazing. 4 bolts out of the 5 are gone, and there's only 1 bolt holding the tire on or something. But there's a reason why those kind of things happen, because if it's not if it's not your time to go, if it's not your situation, it's amazing what the outside forces will do, and we just chalk it up to luck. Yeah. In my world, there's no luck. It doesn't exist. Luck is a word that is used that when things happen to you based on what is meant to happen, we call it, "Oh, that was good luck," or "Oh, even worse, that was bad luck." No, it isn't any of that. It's something that either was meant to happen, and to give your awareness to it. But there are some points where I was driving through Western Canada, and then something just told me just to stop, because I was driving a 5-ton truck, and behind it I had a trailer pulling my car over into the next province. So, and somebody just told me just to stop the car and just to stop, whether for gas. But, if you've ever been driving through Saskatchewan or Alberta, there's not a whole lot of, stops along the way. There's like a gas station, and then 150 kilometers away, there's another gas station sort of thing. But something in the middle just told me to stop and just to look at things. As you're driving at 100 kilometers an hour, like highway speed, and making sure everything's good. So anyway, I did stop for some reason, and my wife says, "What are you stopping for?" And I says, "I don't know. Something's telling you just for me to stop." So I go to inspect what's going on, and the trailer is half on. Like the car is literally on with a chain. It's already came off its ball, and I didn't even notice it. And but the chain was so strong it was able to hold the car. He says, "Okay, that's interesting." So in those few minutes, I was able to put the trailer back on the ball, tie it in, secure it, and we're on our way again. But who knows how long that would have stayed on? Because everything seemed to be okay, with it. When you're driving a 5-ton truck, you don't normally feel all the little nudges that you'd feel in a car. If I was taking one car or like an SUV and a trailer behind that, you'd feel every kind of bump there is. So where did that come from? That didn't come from my mind, because I had no idea why I was stopping. Something just kept bugging me. And this is the part that we all have. All of us have this. We always say, "Did I bring something? Did I bring this? Maybe I shouldn't take it." But so something comes to you, and there's a reason why it came to your mind. And it's all about having this attracted to you. There's something that you are getting. And most of us, or many of us, we just discount it. "Oh, that's nothing. I'm sure it's okay." And then we'll keep going. Next thing you know, this trailer would have been in the ditch. I think with Sam's example, my car would have passed my truck. In this case, as it would have been on the highway with no nothing attached to it. But sometimes when you get an inkling, follow it. There's a reason why you got it. When you are just in a cognitive position, then all of a sudden you get a thought out of nowhere just for you to do something. Find out where that's coming from. If we don't look at those intuitive things, and if it doesn't really, if you're not really into that, that's okay. But just know that there's something that's tapping you on the shoulder for you to do something, and it's just good to do that. I got the same inkling when I was coming through, and it always seems to be in the prairies. When I was coming back to Ontario, I had to go through the provinces again, through Saskatchewan, and then we hit. I believe it was Medicine Hat when we hit there, and this was in November. We had it was colder weather. End of November, it was colder weather. And then we were going to stop because I had driven like almost, I know you're not supposed to do this, but at the time it was like 12 hours straight with my truck. And I figured, okay, we're just going to stop for a hotel and we'll stop in Medicine Hat. And then as we were getting closer to Medicine Hat, I could see that in the map there's a hotel just off the side. And something just told me to keep going. Just keep going. And I said, and I was driving my mom at the time. I says, Mom, I'm getting to keep going. And I'm kind of tired, but there's probably a hotel a little bit after that, but I'm getting to keep going. She says, okay, that's fine. And so we passed it, and we drove another few hours and then found a hotel further on. And next morning we found out it got like 2 feet of snow, and the whole town was snowed in. We never would have been able to leave. The plows weren't out. And I says, okay, that's what told me. In other words, when you're getting any kind of a thought that over and above cognitive, because there are some things that just make sense, then there are other things that come in that you don't know where it's coming from. And you got to realize that we're sensory beings, and you're getting those little bits of intuition, even if you don't work on yourself, even if you don't do the meditations and stuff. Sometimes it creeps in and it says, look, just keep going, just keep doing what you're doing. And then we'll know why after it is, So when a person coming in for a tuning session, in my case, I work with a lot of, I'm a tuning fork master. I'm also teaching this to other practitioners to incorporate tuning forks in their profession. Massage therapists are a big one. Right after they've done a massage, I've got several students that will also do like maybe a 5 or a 10-minute tuning session just to clean things off. And he says it makes a world of difference. Because in the massage itself, you're opening up various portals from a physical perspective, and then it comes up, and that's why they feel good. But what happens is, it's a lot like taking an orange peel and you're squeezing it. What happens? You get those little spits of orange essence coming out of the peel. That's kind of what happens in a massage. When you're moving your massage through your body, there are various energetic toxins. We don't see it. But we sure feel it. That's the coldness that comes out. And it's at the surface. And so if you finish off with a tuning session, it cleans all that off. So whatever the effects of the massage was, sometimes it's pretty sore. Instead of having it the next day or sometimes the day after, it's within a few hours, the person will feel a lot better when they incorporate the sound frequency that clears that energy. Because the spit is on the outside now. And if it's just left there, it'll just have, sometimes the person will have redness for several hours or until the next day. But once you have a tuning session, there's no redness because the redness is affected by the energetic toxins. Again, we don't see it, but it's part of our things as humans in our bodies. It's always there. So in a sound bath, what we incorporate tuning forks. We're picking up a series of different crystal bowls this weekend. We've got Tibetan bowls, and we've got chimes, and we've got different sounds. And it's like a concert in a sense. The one that's coming up on June the 25th. It's like a concert. I'll have about 15 people here in my studio, and I'm opening it up to online as well. So people that are outside the city or outside the country can still zoom in and get this experience. Best if you have earphones, because then the sound is a little more potent than a little speaker on your computer, or if you have little speakers. If you have a really good speaker, like I do, I have a Bose that I use in a lot of my places where I do the sound outside. But yeah, it's really great. So earphones are really good, and all you need to do is just think of a question based on something within you. So it's all about unity, self-unity. What will all the separations that we have in our body? There are so many separations that we have. Well, the most basic separation is I'm a man, I'm a woman, all right? And we think that's pretty harmless, and it is in the very beginning. But then we say, okay, I'm a mechanic, or I'm an accountant, or we split ourselves up very much, and we get to a point where, okay, I don't like to go into elevators. I am not a person that goes and meets a lot of people. I am not a trustworthy person. So we have in many cases over 50 to 60 separations within our body based on the various things. I'm not good at public speaking. That's a separation. You are good at it. It's just that there's not that inkling to do it, or I'm not good enough, or I want to give and I can't accept anything. I have a real problem with receiving something. These are all different separations we have in our body. So when we take it one by one and we say, what is the most basic thing that you have that we all are? We are a child of this earth, and we are human. And that's as far as it should go. So when we start taking down some of the separations that we have, or I'm Portuguese, or I'm Canadian, or I'm American, just as depending on where you were born, depending on your age group, even when someone says, "Oh yeah, I'm in my 70s now, I'm just going to be going downhill," that's a separation. So when we take who we are in essence, because our soul, it doesn't know how old you are. It just realized that you're alive, and the essence is flowing through you. All the meridians are either active or they're not, and you're going to have various health challenges based on it. And we usually blame it on the fact that we're getting old. It isn't. Yeah, we can go into areas of the Congo, and we can find tribes that the elderly person at 120 years old are still climbing trees. They're still very vibrant. It's not because of just age. It is a little bit of the food, yes, but it all has to do with a consciousness. Is the fact that when your body is in the same consciousness as your soul, you don't get older. You just don't get older. And so, but we are conditioned that because of age, various things happen at a certain time. And so long before we get there, we put this in our minds, right? So in this sound bath, basically, it's a great way to be able to get into that sound. And all the sounds are done in a certain order, in a certain way, at certain times. And it slowly will help you to find out who you really are. And that's because the more of who you know, the more you know yourself, the stronger you will be. You won't overreact to things. We only overreact to things that we don't know. Have you ever noticed that the things that we aren't really that crazy about, or we don't know much about, we want to stay away from it or kill it? Like when you understand where spiders come from, and why spiders are there and what spiders do. We start realizing, okay, it's not as scary as I thought, but just a spider, you'll see jokes where there's this house on fire and the caption reads, "I got the spider," sort of thing. When we separate ourselves in that way, and it usually comes in humor to start with, just to make it funny, because anything in humor, our consciousness will accept quicker. If somebody told you what to do and they're very adamant, there's a resistance, and you won't have that come through. But when it comes through a humor, that's when you'll accept it, because it's funny, when we make fun of whether it's women drivers, we make fun of various kids, or we make fun of various people who, whether they're autistic or not, where, it all seems very innocent in the beginning because it comes through humor. But when you look at the deeper part of it, I just recently, my grandson showed me a picture of a new character that he saw in school. I'm not sure if you've seen this. I hope I get this right. It's a toilet head. It's a new thing where this character is, and it looks kind of scary, and his head is coming out of a toilet. And I said, why on earth would they teach that to kids? And there's actually a movie being produced right now that's going to be geared for kids. And I said, okay, it's interesting that they're using this particular character to make kids making them afraid to go to the washroom. I just think it's very incredible. So when we look at those kinds of things in terms of humor, it gets in, and once it gets in, it's really hard for that to come out. And the sound bathing, what it does is it gets a lot of those type of toxic thoughts out of our head, so we can be you. You can be yourself, and whoever that is. We're all different. But we're not all different based on our culture or where we come from. We are all our souls are different. Our journey is very, very different. And so if you want more information about the sound bathing, you can let me know. One thing I wanted to mention, though, is the class that we did on Friday. We were working on, we were talking about dogs. You were talking about the way that dogs are, why they are part of our life, okay, and what they do. So I wanted to play just a few minutes of that particular class I had on Friday on this particular topic. So let's see if we can get that in there for you, just to see what our furry friends do and how they really are so well needed in our lives. Purpose. Well, one of the things we know about our furry friends is that they're so loving, they're so unconditionally loved, and we've known this for so many years. And what Spirit was saying is in this one is that there's a lot of different segments and subsections of how people treat animals, how people treat dogs. But basically, from one spectrum to another, you have the one dog owner that just connects to their pet. Like they know what their pet is in pain, whether it's emotional or whether there's something bothering them. They just feel it right away. There's that spiritual oneness that you feel with your animal. There's something isn't right. Of course, there's and they always feel that they can help, and the dog can do the same. It can just look at you, and you just know what they want to do. So there's a certain way that my dog looks at me, and I said, okay, she wants to go out, sort of thing. Then there's the other spectrum where an owner of a dog could be so wrapped up in their own energy. Every day they've got a checklist of the things to do, and they don't really notice anything about their animal. It's just an animal within the home. All right, and so that is they're just not ready for this directional soul bonding. All right, they would just like to see it as a logical sense, and they look at things pragmatically. They're very focused on the pragmatic stuff in their lives, and they don't really feel much. They just think that it's just a dog, in that way. They see dogs as possessions. All right, and even to the part that dog abusers, when they hurt animals, they really don't even connect, and they would not understand any of the messages that we're doing today. So those that are tuning in and they won't get it. They won't get today's class, which is okay. It's just part of your evolution to get through, because these animals are here for a purpose, and we're going to be talking about that in a deeper way for sure. So when a dog passes, this is one of the incredible things about it, that when a dog passes and sorely missed, there's about 30% of the population that I was told that humans will have a deeper soulful connection on the other side. They'll actually feel, their dog, around their feet. around their legs. They passed, let's say a few weeks ago, and they still feel them in the house. They still feel them. There's noises in the house, and it's just a lot of it's auditory. It's energetic, but there's about 30%. Now that doesn't seem like much. However, years ago, Spirit's saying it was almost half that. Like if we go back 25, 30 years, it was about half that. So what it's saying is that we are connecting to our animals that's around us in a deeper way, and they're not just dogs, like in the sense that they're with us. In my day, if I'm going back like 40, 50 years, at least when I was in teenage years, there was a lot of dogs that was chained outside all year round, including our dog. Our dog was a hunting dog we had for a while, and they was basically outside all the time. It was minus 40, plus 40, didn't matter. I never realized it at the time, but it's just that's what dogs were. And when we go to Hungary, that's where a lot of my family are, and a lot of countries were like this in the 70s and 80s, where everyone's dogs were outside. They had a chain basically tied to a tree, and that was basically their home. They had a dog house right there. They threw some straw in there or some other things that the dog could at least nurture themselves or be able to go in if it's raining and that kind of thing. But that was sort of what life was like. And it's been over time that people are now starting to look at animals in their way that they are more than just a pet in the house. All right. One of the things that scientists have discovered is that the way the dog's eyes are, they can detect more than what we initially thought. When the dog looks at you, all right, they can detect a lot more. They see not only your physical form, okay, but they also see your energy, this biofield that's around you, or your aura, as some would call it. And they see this energy and they just look at you in a totally different way, like they're mesmerized, all right? And they had several tests to confirm this. So they could see auras. Now, cats are even more powerful. Dogs have it, all dogs have it, but cats are extremely sensitive. They would actually look into a corner and their head would be bopping, and you're looking and there's nothing there. But there's a lot of activity, like with a cat, because their retinas are even more sensitive. Okay, when a dog does it, it seems to look and always want to be able to gravitate towards you in that way. Okay, so they see this. Now, this may account for why dogs will greet you in such a great way. They have so much energy. They're always vigor. I mean, literally, you could leave the house, go down the street. You have to go down the street to pick up our mail. And we're literally back in 60 seconds, maybe 90 seconds, if that. And the dog is just going ballistic, like we haven't been there for 8 hours. And they're so happy all the time. It's like they're so happy to see you. So this could account for it because they see this beautiful aura around you, and they're constantly trying to be a part of that, right? They have this incredible vigor. They transcend stagnation in your home. That's why the dog keeps moving from one sofa to the corner, to the front door, to the back door, because they're moving energy all around. It is said, and I've known this for many years, that if a brand new house was built, all right, and they had two houses like that, brand new, and they're about ready to bring people in. In one home, if you put a dog in that house, you'll feed it and, but the dog would be able to roam around free, but there's nobody there. In the other house, nothing. Don't put anything. If you could do that for 5 years, just to keep things going, the house would have the dog in it would still be up. The one that would have nothing in it, there'd be rodents in there, there would be spider webs everywhere, there's stagnation galore, you'd smell mildew. You would basically have to dilapidate the house and start over, because as soon as mildew gets into the insulation, into the drywall, it's a Control Alt Delete. A brand new home, that's what dogs do. They move energy in a feng shui perspective so well that it actually keeps the rodents and all these lower energies away, because the dog's heart is in the right place always. You know, they have the ability to be able to detect if you're sick, where a doctor takes a little more time. They know something's up. All right. They have the ability to look at tough and challenging times and sort of give you enough energy to soften that a little bit. So if you have a dog in front of you and you're going through a tough time and you're just holding it and you're not asking any questions, you know, but somehow you feel better after just a few minutes of petting its head, you know, just to see if you're okay. And then it'll go down, sit down and just looking at you. So sometimes silence, I think I'm real a benefit of, because when we are silent when we have our dogs, they're not asking, they're not giving any advice. They're just basically offering love. They're just basically offering something of value that we need. And, you know, and we hear this in so many people that, well, I wasn't looking for advice anyway. I just wanted someone to hear me, someone to be able to comfort me. They bring blessings and to their owners. This is one of the reasons why dog owners are so joyous all the time. They're more generous and they're a little more prosperous than others. So, okay, I just wanted to give you a little excerpt of that because I did the presentation today. Those that are here, if you want the rest of that show, I'm doing part 2 this Friday. A little bit information from a spirit perspective about why they're sending dogs to us. So I hope this was a nice little introduction of your pets and of what I do to connect, to bring it all together. If there's any questions, there's a lot that's been thrown at you, I know, but I hope you like that. So yeah, just let me know if you want the rest of that, and be happy to do that for you. Any questions?
I think if anybody has any questions, give Tony a jingle for BAM and bring your dog with you, and go for broke. I'm going to close this off with a quote for the day. We don't have to be smarter than the rest. We have to be more disciplined than the rest. Warren Buffett.